From Tobacco Republic in Loomis, California, the Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us.
Well, welcome back to Take Two. I'm a moron and forgot to hit the record button.
Yes, you are.
So, it happens. How you doing, Roy?
I'm doing great. Greg, how you doing, man?
Great. Greg Perry here, joined by Roy Bolkelman. You remember him from our couples show in February. We are hanging out at Tobacco Republic. We had a nice, safe, socially distant Oscar event today. And
no, we're not talking about the Oscars that were televised last weekend. Oscar Villadara's event. His rep Barry was in here. Sorry about cutting you off.
No, go for it. Conversation, man.
Oh, yeah, it may be, but it was a little rude of me. I do apologize.
We had a great event, and he produces some amazing cigars, and I really liked the first one better, but oh well, this is what we got.
Yeah, this is what we got.
So to recap you on our first conversation, Barry is Oscar's rep.
Yeah.
And Oscar first came on the scene about 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe about 7-ish.
When he first thing I seen him do was the blends for Island Jim, but I don't know if he did anything before that.
He did the Rosalila before that.
He did the Rosalila before that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, but he was actually working for a different. Can we say who he was working for?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he actually was working for Rocky Patel for a long time ago. He was his bus driver. A lot of the guys here at Tobacco Republic went on a trip down to Honduras, and he was driving the bus for him when they showed up there. So going from that to having his own line, and a line that does great, that's a wonderful thing right there.
Yeah, and Barry's a really cool dude. He was in here today. He's the rep for let's say the West Coast region, because I'm not entirely sure in total where he's at. But, really cool guy. We've seen him at a couple events outside of here, Big Smoke and Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. And, he comes in here, except for last year with COVID, he'd normally be up here about every 3 to 4 months. And he's just a really cool dude. He's a hockey player, musician, just an amazing individual. And it'd be fun to get him on the program.
Yeah, it would be. But we had that Oscar event today though, so that's one of the reasons why I'm smoking the Rosalila.
Yeah, speaking of
Maduro.
that, tell me about your cigar.
Rosalila and Maduro. The Rosalila line is an older line. It came out a while ago, as we had mentioned earlier, that Oscar had put out. But these came out late last year?
Yes.
And he brought out a Corojo and a Maduro. You are a fan of the Corojo, I do believe.
I am. I'm not. As many of our loyal listeners, of which the live audience sitting here is some of them, will know I am not a Maduro aficionado. I will smoke a Maduro now and then when I really want that power after a good meal. But for the most part, I prefer the medium-bodied cigars. And Corojo wrapper just has such a rich, deep, almost, reminds me of Burgundy wine flavor. It just makes for a really excellent cigar. In fact, you've got the Rosalila Maduro, and I've got the Oscar Valadares 2012 in Corojo.
Oh, yeah. The thing about it is, though, remember, just because it's a Maduro doesn't mean it's going to be powerful.
That's true.
The 2012 Maduro is not a powerful stick. It is a medium body. It maybe have a little bit more than what you have there, but it is pretty medium bodied, and it's a very flavorful smoke. But you are correct. Most Maduros, people usually, the manufacturers go, oh, let's make it a powerhouse blend because it's a dark wrapper. They expect that Maduro to be all of this right here, just to kick you in the head, and it doesn't have to be.
No, and I think, the most famous Maduro in this shop, of course.
Oh, yeah.
For power.
Oh, yeah.
Is the LFD.
Oh, God, the double arrow line, the chisel.
La Fleur Dominican.
Yeah, La Fleur Dominican.
Beautiful cigars.
Oh, yeah, and they've got their Maduro and they've got their Ligero down really good for that. And it is a powerhouse of a stick. Mm-hmm. And it's not a small ring gauge either. It's a good, 54 ring gauge?
60.
60?
You're talking the chisel?
The chisel.
The chisel's a 50 or 52.
Yeah, it's 52.
It's not quite 54. A 55, but the
DL700s of 60.
And the Digger's a 700 is a 62.
Yeah, and those are really full-bodied Maduros, and they are. If you don't have a good meal beforehand, unless you're a certain specific person that used to come in here and
Roy.
No, I was the chisel guy. I had a chisel in my face when I walked in, chisel in my face when I walked out, and I burned my palate out with that because of all that Ligero in there. But we had another kid that came into here for a while. And the digger smoking contest, how fast did he smoke that digger? 24 minutes?
24 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a 9-inch,
No, it's
60 ring gauge cigar.
I thought it was a 7.
The digger's a 9.
Digger's a 9?
DL 700's the 7.
Oh, the 700's a 7. Okay, so the digger's a 9-inch by 60 ring gauge with a double Ligero blend in there. And he powered through that in 24 minutes.
Yeah, and it was incredible to watch because the whole goal of the contest was who could smoke it the quickest, and then had to sit for 30 minutes without throwing up. And the secret, if I can give it away,
I know what the secret is.
the secret was actually not smoking it; it was going and blowing through it,
Blowing out
and
through it.
you spent more time, heating it that way. But still, 24 minutes for a cigar that big that normally would take you and I upwards of 3 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 hours. I don't. Oh, some of the live audience is commenting here that it
Take them 2 hours.
And you know what?
Oh, I'm sorry. The live audience is commenting that they came in second place, which is true. I don't remember how long did that take you, audience? So about 90 minutes to smoke said cigar.
90 minutes. That is very fast for that big digger too. That digger is a huge stick.
But see, there were people that finished faster than our audience member there. But the problem is they all exploded during their 30-minute waiting period.
Oh yeah, the digger, if you're not careful, it can make you herk a little bit.
I love it though. After particularly when we're up at camp on steak night, that is the perfect cigar after steak night.
Oh, it is the DL 700 or the digger. More of the DL 700. The digger, though great, and it tastes exactly the same as the DL 700. That's a little bit too much, even for me. I'm a big guy and I like a good big smoke, but that's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
The 700 though, that's a perfect smoke after a big steak.
Yep. So one of the reasons I wanted Roy to come on and join me is when he and Sam and I often sit in my backyard when they're up here at Tobacco Republic for the night. We talk a lot about cigars and about things in general. And one of the discussions that he and I have had several times is on cigar construction, primings for the tobacco plant and things like that. So, I wanted to commit that to video because, it's a great conversation. And not only is it a great thing for an episode, but it's also really interesting on how cigars were constructed. And, we talked a little bit about Oscar, but we need to talk about another man who's wonderful in the cigar world. He's an absolute joy to meet in person, amazing, friendly, outgoing, a fount of knowledge. And that is one of Rocky Patel's partners and rollers. And that is
Jaime Hamlet Paredes.
And he's an amazing individual. He comes up here periodically, too. In fact, most of the knowledge Roy's going to impart, he got from Hamlet one night sitting here in the corner off camera here to our right, your left, and rolled some cigars for us here in the video. It was real not in the video, in the shop. It was amazing. So, as most people know, cigars are constructed in 3 parts. The outer leaf that you're used to, called the wrapper, the binder, which binds the filler, and that's inside your cigar. And the unique thing is, when a cigar is made, we as consumers don't really think about this, and it's amazing because there is so much complexity that goes into making a cigar. For example, let's jump to back to LFD for a minute.
Oh yeah.
The wrapper leaf, the outer wrapper leaf, is a deep, deep black Maduroed cigar. It's very oily. It's very thick. And they blend that cigar so that the binder and the filler burn hotter to keep that outer wrapper leaf going.
Also, it did. I had mentioned earlier where their LFD is good with their Ligeros. Ligero leaf is one of the primings that we were talking about. There's the 3 basic levels are starting at the bottom. You have your Velado tobacco. They not a lot of sunlight gets to it. It's very thin. There's almost no flavor to it, but it burns easy. So you use that to keep the rest of the cigar burning. Then you get into the secos, which are in the middle. You have more sunlight, and then you get a little bit more flavor out of those. They don't burn as easily. There's more oils in it, but you get flavors out of that. Then you get the top, what primings he was talking about, the layers of leaf that are at the top. So those are going to be called the ligeros, or primarily those are ligeros. And as you start at the top, those are going to be the strongest when it comes to imparting flavor and power, because most of the photosynthesis happens there. They get the most sunlight. And those build up all of that flavor and oil in there. And as you go down, you get less and less flavor and oil out of it. So LFD, they are really good at choosing those ligeros for the power. And they're good at blending those with everything else, wrapping it in that Maduroed Connecticut broadleaf wrapper that I love so much, and making a really tasty and powerful cigar.
Power's no joke either.
No. It's like a baseball bat to the head if you're not careful.
Well, they're fun because if you get the guy that doesn't smoke very often, is real macho and goes, I can handle anything. Okay.
Give him this little bitty chiselito and see how he feels after that.
We're not that cruel. No, not at all. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But, and so Hamlet was here.
Oh, yeah.
And please pontificate for me, because
Pontificate.
you remember that more than I do.
Yeah. It was the 2 times that he's been here, he has rolled for us. The first time he was here was 4 years ago he was here?
About
that. And he had rolled the culebra, the 28-inch culebra, the 3 braided. They were 48 to 50 ring, about 46 to 48 ring gauge, 28 inches long. And in 45 minutes, while talking to other customers and people that had come in for this event, he had rolled out all 3 cigars, drinking wine or whatever. I think he had a wine. He was meeting people.
I think it was wine, yeah.
Yeah, he was drinking wine, meeting people, and he had rolled all of them out, braided them together, banded them together with some ribbon, and they gave it away too as a raffle prize.
Mm-hmm.
But in 45 minutes, this guy's good. He's an Intavar level roller.
Yes.
I mean, this guy can roll basically a Robusto or a Toro, which is 5 to 6 inches long, anywhere from 50 to 54 ring gauge, and he can do that in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's taking his time to make sure it's done right. If you had to do it quick, he'd probably drop about a minute off of that.
Yeah.
But one of the things he went through, especially this second time, is when it comes to blending, when it comes to blending your cigars, you can't use the same exact recipe every single time. And he really brought it. He really said it in layman's terms. You can't use the same primings off of each leaf because weather's different year to year when they're growing. So one might use like a level 2 Ligero, level 1 Seco, and like a level 1 or level 2 on the Velato, and I'm a little far away. And on the Velato, and you got a blend there. Then you wrap it with your wrapper, your binder, which is usually flavorless on that because they'll use like a low-end Seco on that just so it's pliable enough. Then you put your wrapper, which is on all the wrappers are shade grown from what he's saying.
For the most part, yeah. The only ones that I know that are sun is when you get the actual ones that are listed sun grown, because sun tends to bring out a stronger flavor in the cigar.
It does, and plus if they're shade grown, that means they'll be protected from a lot of the elements
And less blemishes.
Yeah, there's less blemishes on it. Then you wrap it in that primarily shade grown wrapper. Mm-hmm. But he went over it. You got the tobacco changes, so sometimes you have to move your Ligero around, move your Seco around, move your Velato around, just to get the flavors correct to keep that blend where it needs to be when it comes to the taste of the cigar that they wanted for that specific one, like for the vintage 1990 versus the vintage 92 versus the vintage what is it? Which is the one with the Crameroon wrapper? Is that the 99?
99, yeah, no, 2003.
Oh, it's 2003. So, plus the wrapper's a little different on that. But to keep those same flavors, they gotta vary which leaves and which levels the leaves come from the areas that they pull them from.
Kind of reminds me of winemaking.
Oh, it is.
Because no 2 vintages are the same year to year. But one of the things with cigars is when a line comes out, we get used to a certain flavor. And as Roy has said, they have to vary it every year to get that same flavor, so we get the same experience. Because if you think about it, the 2 cigars we're smoking now were rolled 6 years ago from tobacco that was probably a year older than that. So, and then next year comes around, and they're blending again, and they're blending again, which just goes to show you the skill of the master blenders in the cigar factories to get that consistency year to year.
Yeah, and it's not just they go, oh well, it was a little different on weather. They'd have to take the same tobacco primings that they had from the last year, roll them together, and taste it, and smoke that cigar. Where is it at compared to that? Okay, so there's a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that. Let's change around where you get your Ligero from, or you get your Seco from. Okay, let's get it a little bit better. Oh, it's got a little bit too much punch to it, a little bit too powerful. Let's drop the Ligero a little bit. Or if there's no Ligero in it, then you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because you look at all the different wrappers and leaves and everything, and we talked about that on a previous episode, the different colors and shadings and everything. Mm-hmm. Primings too, if you'll bear with me for a minute. Very complicated with mic stand, but primings also come in 3. Come on, phone, cooperate. Primings. So we talk about the 3 different, the Ligero, the Seco, and the Velato, right? 40% of a plant is typically Ligero, 50% of the plant is typically Seco, 10% is Velato, right? Of those, there is 3 different sub-primings in each category. Mm-hmm. It's just easier to do the Seco because I can pronounce them a lot easier. For Seco, for example, there's a Centro Fino at the top of it. There's a Centro Ligero, Ligero, and then Unimedio. I'm not good at Spanish, so it's probably medium. But those are the 3 sub-primings that come out of those. So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sub-primings out of the 3 original primings.
Yeah.
And it's a great deal of challenge there. And it really makes the uniqueness of the handmade product on why it's so good.
Yeah. And another thing that goes into it is the fact that there's also construction issues when it comes to the primings that you use, because when they roll, we watched it with Hamlet. He would remove the larger sections of stem, but he leaves some of the central stem in there because he reports that he let us know that is how you're able to draw that air through there to pull the smoke through. That's how you get your channels through a cigar. If you didn't have those there, it'd be like just a giant wad of tobacco. You wouldn't be able to pull anything through it. So they do leave some stem in there, so they don't pull all the stem out. Also, one of the things just to control the amount of power, like if there is Ligero tobacco in there, if they want to even out the power. Now, much like how we were saying, the Ligeros at the top get more sunlight. The closer you are to the center of the plant, the more nutrient you get when it comes to the leaves. So if you were to burn a leaf at right near the base of the leaf versus the tip, you would get different amounts of flavor out of that. It would be stronger towards the base where it attaches. So when you have that leaf there, sometimes when they break it apart, they'll flip it around, or they'll set it in a certain way. When they do flip it around, you get certain mixes of what those are at. So you can even out. You can front load a cigar to be really powerful up front, then mellow out as it goes along. You can even it out so it starts out fairly strong, then it just stays through there. It might spike a little bit, then drop back down and be a little bit more mellow. It's all that master blender taking those leaves and being able to sequence them right, flipping things around, front and back and everything like that. Then being able to overlap, when they need to overlap a little bit, they overlap, then they make their cigar out of it. And it is an art form. It's not just slap it in here. There you go. All right, you got a cigar. And it's a sight to behold to actually see. Just watch Hamlet sit there and go, okay, pop that. Okay, move that around. There we go. 4.5 minutes later, he has a 54 ring gauge by 6-inch cigar sitting there with a cap on it, ready to smoke. It is a perfectly aged cigar because the tobacco is still aged. And it just looks just like a production cigar. And he just does it by hand. And you know how he set that up. It's going to taste how he wants it to taste.
Have you ever smoked a bench rolled cigar?
I have not smoked a bench rolled cigar.
That's something that, given the opportunity, you got to try that, because a bench rolled cigar versus one that has laid in the aging room for a year and married it's stark difference, and it's beautiful, I think, because you get different notes and different flavors than what you're expecting. You get more sweet, more power, more upfront flavors versus the cigar that sat for a year. So it really it changes so much the experience. I've only got to do it once, but it was an amazing experience, and I hope one of these days when we can get back to traveling the globe. I know you have a trip due. Yep. For winning a raffle for a trip to see Oscar's operation.
Yeah.
And several other manufacturers, aside from Oscar, do this. Rocky does it. Drew Estate does it. Phil Ziggy with Debonair does it, I believe. And they take you down to the estates, either in Honduras, the DR, or somewhere, and you see the process from beginning to end. Craig got to do it last year, just before COVID shut everything down, going to the JRE factory in Honduras. And
envious.
Very.
He did
jerk.
Didn't he bring back a few sticks, or he had some delivered?
No, he didn't.
He didn't bring any back. No. He had some.
No,
he special ordered some and had them delivered. That's what it was.
Well,
he bought them.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. He bought them.
Sticks came back. It was good. Yeah. In fact, you enjoy them. The ones that were the one that he brought back was the Aladino.
I think it was
the Cameroon, the red wrappered one.
Might have been.
But yeah, I mean, it's an amazing experience that I really want to have, and I'm slightly envious that you get to go to Oscar's place.
Well, we're going back to Barry. He was saying that Oscar had a house built with a lot of nice area around it, nice backyard, a pool, places. Yeah, there's constantly staff there, and there's like 6-7 bedrooms there. Many of the rooms have 2 beds in there, so you can bring groups in over there. So he's like, yeah, if people can actually travel, you can get a group of people together, come in, and he'll get it for X amount of price. He was saying somewhere around $400, $500. It could change on that, but he's just going off the top of his head. But a group of people come in, they'll tour it. It's like 3 or 4 days. They tour his plantations. He's got a coffee plantation.
Really?
Yeah. He has a coffee. He has a coffee plantation too.
We like coffee.
Barry dropped that, and we're like, maybe we need to get some of that coffee in here and try it out.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But tour his plantations, his coffee plantation factory. He had one where you just take a trip up a mountain, have a meal up there while you're overlooking an entire valley. The food, drink, and cigars are provided at his house. So it's just you have to fly in and fly out. That's all the thing you really have to do. Just got to get a group of people together so it can actually be done.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we can do that here at TR with a bunch of the guys here. You, myself. I have the trip already paid for because I won that, as you said. Yeah.
But maybe we can get a group down, and you're on that, and all the rest of us are going.
Yeah. And
my other audience members going.
Yeah. And I'd love to be able to do that, and that would just be a great thing.
COVID will abate soon.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to move around a bit more. And one of the upcoming things is the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. And I know this will be your first trip.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival.
Last year was supposed to be your first trip and my second, but that little virus got in the way.
The coof got us.
But I'm looking at we've talked about it on the show a couple of times, and in fact, I think we're going to be doing another show before we go, and then of course there'll be the after show, of course, where we talk about our experiences in there. But one of the fun things is getting to see all the manufacturers, including Oscar.
Oh yeah.
Rocky was there. Lito Gomez from LFD was there. Jonathan Drew. The Padron family was there. The Fuente family was there. It's just an amazing event. And if you are the kind of cigar smoker that has the sick, twisted addiction that we do, this really is the event for you. I mean, it's usually capped at like 2,500 to 3,000 guests. And they have different ticket levels from VIP, ultra VIP, general admin, and they also have what they call social tickets, which is, let's say you and your wife are going. In your case, it's different because you both smoke.
Yeah.
But if you and your wife are going and she doesn't smoke, she can still get into the event and still enjoy everything. They just don't get all the free stuff like the cigars and the lighter and the cutter and the drinks and all that jazz, But it's really an amazing event. And if you're listening, smoker friendly, we'd really love to talk to you on our program, preferably prior to the event. Why not?
Yeah, that'd be great.
But it's an interesting world, cigars.
Oh yeah. What other real world really is there where you can sit in a lounge like today here in the lounge? I walk in, and there is a literal millionaire sitting across from me.
True.
And I'm looking at him going, "Hey, how you doing?" And it's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I shook his hand. I always shake his hand when he comes in. He's always been a nice guy to me. I always do my best to be polite to him.
COVID.
Yeah, well, I shook his hand anyways. He's not angry that we kept our social distance afterwards, but fist bumps, social handshakes, whatever. He was up to shaking my hand. I shook his hand. Promptly washed up afterwards because I don't know where he's been. He's a plumber.
Yeah, just a poor plumber.
Yeah, he's just a poor plumber. Talking about his $20,000 renovation on his room.
I really think that's one of the things that we talk about this all the time on the show.
Oh yeah,
the uniqueness of what it is for cigars. In fact, one of the folks that was here today was mentioning how relaxing it is. They can have an absolutely crap day, and we've all experienced this in this lounge. You walk in, you have a crap day, you're in a terrible mood, and you light the cigar, you sit down, you start talking with the people, and all that negativity just goes away and positivity begins to flow. And it's a unique thing, I think, to cigars.
Especially in the atmosphere in this place, because it's there's no TVs to distract you. There's no loud noises to jar you.
Unless they're karaoke next door.
Yeah, then we all get to laugh at them strangling the cat. Oh, yeah. But I have actually found that it's in my line of work, I don't get to relax a lot because I work in medical. So I'm not relaxed at all. And when I go home, I can relax and everything like that. Sit back at home, have a cigar, talk with my wife. She has a cigar. We'll sit there and just BS. And that's fine. I can relax at home. But outside of home, I can't find a place to relax until I step into here. And I can sit back, have that cigar, and relax. I fall asleep here.
Frequently.
I had a little 20-minute nap earlier today sitting over at the couch over that way. And woke up. Okay, I feel a lot better. Okay. Continued smoking. It was great.
Any snoring?
Yeah, I always snore.
But, one of the things that you can look forward to in an upcoming episode is that we're going to record. We're all going socially distant camping.
Oh, social distance camping.
For the Memorial Day. And, well, let me add that caveat, okay? We record this program and live in the state of California. The state of California is a tinderbox. So we are going socially distant camping, provided
we can,
and they don't shut the forest down like they did last year, because the fires were really bad last year, and it's looking bad this year because we didn't get much rain. But it does make a difference. And so if we get to go socially distant camping, quote unquote, we are going to record an episode for you guys up at camp. And, it's a good sized group. We should be able to get a lot of voices rotating through on the mics with us and, just really have a good time. So that's hopefully a show that we can bring to you. And unfortunately, my co-hosts aren't here, but they would probably be disagreeing with me right now, but that's okay. But you and I smoke all the time,
Oh yeah.
every day. Maybe not every day, but most days.
Yeah.
And, you guys are up at the lounge at least once a week. I'm up here a couple times a week because of the convenience for me of the distance. I'm only 25 minutes away versus an hour. But it's just a unique place. And like we talked about in the last episode, it's very important that we keep lounges around. We keep the brick and mortar stores around because not only are they a social place for people to hang out once the COVID protocols allow us to do so as we would have done before, where we can sit on top of each other practically and not have to be distant. But it's such a unique atmosphere and environment, and it doesn't matter whether you're rich, poor, unemployed, employed, male, female. It does not matter. As soon as you walk through that threshold, you're part of the group, you're part of the club. You're smoking cigars. We're laughing. We're joking. We're being cruel to each other. It's an experience that can't go away. So I can't encourage you all enough. Find that local brick and mortar that's right for you and support them with everything you have because it's very important.
Oh yeah, it is extremely important.
And we need to do a humidor tour for you guys one day so you can see what this humidor is like because it's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's a great humidor.
But I don't know. What else you got?
I don't got too much. No, we went over what we really wanted to go over.
Okay, I think we'll wrap this thing up then.
All right.
As always, I want to thank Roy for joining me. It's been fun.
Oh, that's great.
And unfortunately, you guys have to hear my outro, and it's nowhere near as good as Scott's. So let's see how this goes, huh? Well, in this case, my Scotch glass is not empty because I ain't drinking, and I'm not down to the nub yet. I got more to enjoy. I'd like to thank you guys for listening and watching. Make sure you give us a like and share on Facebook. Don't forget our YouTube channel. Leave a review, leave a comment. Don't make me have Scott beg, because I will. As always, from all of us at Beyond the Humidor and my guest Roy, thanks for listening. We'll see you around, and to quote Scott, good smoke, good drink, good life. Stay safe and take care.